Well, this is Guru Charandas Arepu, lecturer in marketing management, Government Degree College, Siddipet Autonomous. Okay, today we will discuss about attitudes and values. Okay, attitude is a very complex, very complex cognitive process, just like the personality of an individual, right? The difference between these two is that personality is usually thought of as the whole person, right? Whereas attitude may make up the personality, right? It is a very important variable in human behavior because it constitutes an important psychological attribute of individuals which shapes the behavior, right? The importance of attitude in understanding the psychological phenomenon was given formal introduction, early in history of social psychology. From the time of its entry into the subject of psychology till now, interest in attitudes have been strongly growing. However, over the years, attitudes have been studied with differing methods, and the emphasis has also been different. Attitudes are evaluative statements. These are frequently used in describing people, objects, and events and explaining the people's behavior. These reflect how one feels about something or somebody. When I say I like Ram, when I say I like Ram, I am expressing my attitude about Ram, right? Thus, we can say that attitude is a bent of mind, predisposition of certain actions, right? We'll see what is the meaning of attitude, and we'll see the definition also. It is very necessary as well as difficult to define attitude because the variety of published definitions and descriptions are infinite in number. Of course, we might call endless. People have their own perception regarding this, and they gave different definitions, meaning and definitions to these. In a very precise way, an attitude can be defined as a persistent tendency to feel and behave in a particular way towards some object, right? An attitude may also be defined as the way a person feels about something, a person, a place, a commodity, a situation, or an idea, right? It expresses an individual's positive or negative feelings about some object. It describes an individual's feeling, thoughts, and predisposition to act towards some object in the environment. Now we will see definitions. The definition given by G.W. Alport. Attitude is a mental and neutral state of readiness, organizing through experience, exerting a directive, dynamic influence upon the individual's response to all objects and situations with which it is related, right? And now we'll discuss the nature of attitudes. Nature of attitude. Attitudes, if you see the definitions, from the definitions which you have discussed, will reveal us what is the nature and the features of attitude. Attitude refers to feelings and beliefs of individuals or groups of individuals. For example, has a poor attitude. I like her attitude. We say, right. The feelings and beliefs are directed towards other people, objects, or ideas. When a person say, I like my job, it shows that he has a positive attitude towards his job, right? Attitude often result in and affect the behavior or action of people. Attitudes can lead to a intended behavior if there are no external interventions. The attitude will lead to intended behavior. Attitude constitutes a psychological phenomena which cannot be directly observed. We are not in a position to observe with our naked eye because it's a psychological phenomenon. However, an attitude can be observed indirectly by observing its consequences. If you observe the consequences of attitude, then you will observe the phenomenon. Of course, it is a psychological phenomenon. We can observe it indirectly by observing the outcomes of attitude. That is what we call it as consequences. If a person very regular in his job, we may infer that he likes his job very much. This is one good example for that. Attitudes are gradually acquired over a period of time. The process of learning attitude starts right from childhood and continues throughout the life of a person. In the beginning, the family members may have a greater impact on the attitude of a child. One good example for this. Attitudes are evaluative statements, either favorable or unfavorable. Okay, don't think that all attitudes are favorable, all attitudes are unfavorable. Okay, they may be favorable or unfavorable. Whether a person says he likes or dislikes something or somebody, an attitude is being expressed. Right? All people, irrespective of their status and intelligence, hold attitudes. Okay, all people, whether they are intelligent, they are what we call it as they are sure, it won't require, right? All people will possess attitude, irrespective of intelligence or the status they are holding. And an attitude may be unconsciously held. Sometimes attitude may be unconsciously. Don't think that attitudes will be held in conscious state only. Okay, they may be held in unconsciously. Most of our attitudes may be about those which we are not clearly aware. Okay, most of the attitudes may be about those which we are not clearly aware. Right? We can have attitudes. Of course, we don't have why they are prejudice. Okay, furnishes a good example. Okay, prejudice. What does it mean? You may have some opinion, okay, without knowing the person. Okay, you may have some opinion about the person without knowing about him fully. That is what we call it as prejudice. Right? Components of attitude. Okay, components of attitude we'll see now. Components of attitude, they may be informal or cognitive component, emotional or affective, or behavioral components. Right, first we will see informational or cognitive component. The informational component consists of beliefs, values, ideas, and other information a person has about the object. Okay, what the belief you have something, about something, that may be object or a person. What idea you have about something, that may be a person or object. What information you have, that means you believe about a person or object, all called as informational or cognitive component. It makes no difference whether or not this information is empirical, correct or real. Okay, that means it may be true or false, but you have some. It won't make any difference to make attitude. Okay, we call them as informational part. For example, a person seeking a job may learn from his own source. If you want to become teacher, you learn from own sources, right? Or other people who are working in the institution, along with you to become a government teacher. For example, private teachers, they work hard. In the same way, in a industry also, they can also, if they want promotion, they can learn from his own sources, or they learn from the employees who are working along with him in the company. Particular, in favor of promotion, right? In reality, it may or may not be correct. What we are saying regarding informational attitudes, a component, informational component, that may not be true in reality. Yet the information that person is using is the key to his attitude about the job and about that company. Right? The person has such an attitude. Right? We call them as informational attitudes. Emotional or affective component. The informational component sets the stage for the more critical part of an attitude. It's affective component. Affective, we call it as, right? Emotional or affective. Informational components, it sets stage for the more critical part of అనే యాటిట్యూడ్లో అత్యంత విద్ధమైనటువంటి భాగాన్ని వాట్ వి కాల్ as that is affective component. The emotional component involves the person's feelings or affect positive, neutral, negative about an object. That means you are responding in such a way, what we call as emotional, okay, or we can say affective component, right? This component can be explained by the statement, I like this job because the future prospects in this company are very good. You are responding, you got the information about that job and you are responding in a positive way, okay, for that particular job, saying I like this job because the future prospects in this company are very good. And the behavioral component, okay, behavioral component, the behavioral component consists of the tendency of a person to behave in a particular manner towards an object. Okay, for example, the concerned individual in the above case may decide to take up the job because there is a good future prospects. Okay, here you see the behavioral component consists of tendency of a person to behave in a particular manner. Why? Okay, why you are want to join that job? You are okay favorable. The concerned individual in the, as we have already discussed, okay, decided to join the job because of good future prospects, right? Out of the three components that we have discussed, informational, emotional and behavioral components of attitudes, only the behavioral component can be directly observed. We could observe the behavior. People can behave, okay, you can observe the behavior of the people by watching them, right? One cannot see another person's beliefs. Beliefs are psychological, okay, they cannot be seen by others, okay, we can't see the beliefs of others, they are informational components. And his feelings, the emotional component also cannot be observed, okay, through his behavior only we will observe these indirectly. These two components can only infer, we can describe, but still understanding these two components is essential in the study of organizational behavior or the behavioral component of attitudes. Okay, the components are, we can illustrate, okay, as below. One is right, that is what informational, affective, behavioral, or informational, emotional, behavior all together form the attitude, okay, and attitude leads to particular behavior. That is what we call it as attitude object. Now we will see the sources of attitudes, or we can say formation of attitudes. Attitudes refers to the feelings and beliefs of individuals or groups of individuals, but the question is how are these feelings and beliefs developed. Okay, attitude refers to the feelings, beliefs, individuals or groups of individuals. But the question is what is the question? How are these feelings and beliefs are developed? Okay, we are not talking about the feelings and beliefs. How are they are developed is most important. The point which has been stressed by many people are that attitudes are acquired but not inherited. Lot of people, okay, argue that they are not inherited from our parents, okay, from our ancestors. They are acquired from the society. As we have learned things from society, they are acquired. A person acquires these attitudes from several sources. Okay, we will see what are the sources that are available to acquire the attitude. What is direct personal experience? A person's direct experience with the attitude object determines his attitude towards that particular object. The personal experience of an individual, okay, whether it is favorable or unfavorable, will affect his attitude deeply, right? These attitudes which are based on personal experience are difficult to change, that it is not an easy task to change, okay, the former deeply rooted attitudes. Example, an individual joins a new job which is recommended to him by his friend, okay, but when he joins the job, he finds his work repetitive, supervisor too tough, okay, supervisor is also too tough, and co-workers not so cooperative, okay, he would develop a negative attitude towards his job. Okay, what he has expected, not able to fulfill in his new job. That's why he will develop a negative attitude towards that job, because the quality of his direct experience with the job is negative, right? He has formed a negative attitude towards the job. Next, association, and the second source of attitude is association. Okay, sometimes an individual come across as a new attitude about uh, attitude object, which may be associated with an old attitude object. Okay, in such a case, the attitude towards the old attitude object may be transferred towards the new attitude object, right? Because of association, when we assume, when we, okay, estimate the people with they are associated. Okay, if you know one person of, okay, one person's attitude, if other person is associated with him, you will make estimations about him, right? What we call it as a, for example, if a new worker remains most of the time in the company of a work, okay, then who is in the good looks of the superior, and towards whom the superior has a positive attitude. Okay, because of okay, he is spending much of his time in the office, in the company, he has in the good looks of the supervisor, and towards whom the supervisor has a positive attitude. Supervisor generally wants to, okay, engage the subordinates in work, and he wants to have they have to spend more work in the company. That was happening, and hence the worker who is, okay, spending much time in the organization or company, okay, generally the supervisor will develop a favorable attitude, that is positive attitude towards that particular worker. Hence the positive attitude for the old worker has been transferred towards the new worker, because the association between the old and new worker, when the new worker came into the organization and is associating with the old worker, and more, or the old worker is in the good looks of the supervisor because of his okay, engagement in the work, and he wants to spend much time in the company. That are the reasons, the because of association of new worker with the old worker, okay, he is also make it the positive attitude, develop the positive attitude towards the supervisor, right? And another is family and peer groups. Attitudes like values are acquired from parents, teachers, and deep group members. Okay, family also inculcate, okay, some features in us, okay, that will help to develop the attitudes like values. They are acquired from our parents, okay, how to behave with the external environment, that will be learned from our parents only, from our teachers only, from our peer group members, right? Peer group members in Telugu we call it as Samavayaskuలు. In our early years, we begin modeling our attitude after those we admire. Okay, in our early years, when we, okay, are younger, we begin modeling our attitude after those we admire. If we are, okay, attracted by someone with their behavior, we'll try to pretend them. We'll try to, okay, learn things from them, and we admire them. Okay, respect, or maybe even because of fear, sometimes we model. Okay, we begin modeling our attitudes like them. We observe the way our family and friends behave, and we shape our attitudes and behavior to align with theirs. Okay, we observe our family members, elders of our family members, and we observe their behavior. Okay, if we think that it is good, certainly we will try to align our behavior with them. Okay, we do so even without being told to do so, and even without having direct experience. We may not disclose, okay, that we are, okay, following them. Similarly, attitudes are acquired from peer groups in colleges, in organizations. Okay, your classmates, from your classmates also, you will acquire these attitudes, right? One example for this is, if the right things is to visit, okay, where generally we have pizza centers, people say that, okay, or if you want to visit to an most uh, what is prominent place, then you are likely to hold that attitude. You are having a positive attitude towards whatever it may be. That can be a restaurant, that can be a place where, okay, you want to spend much time of your life, right? Then we'll have neighborhood. Okay, the neighborhood in which we live has certain cultural facilities. తెలుగులో మనం ఇరుగు పొరుగు అంటాం. ఓకే, we have certain cultural facilities, religious, okay, groupings and ethnic differences, right, with whom we are living. Further, it has people who are neighbors. These people may be northerners. Okay, Hyderabad, if you take, it's a cosmopolitan city. From all over the world, people visit Hyderabad, and some are, okay, they want to live, they want to continue their life. Okay, they come for subsistence and they stay here, they live here till they pass away. Okay, they may be our neighbors. The people belonging to different cultures have different attitudes and behaviors. Some of these we accept, some of these we deny and possibly become rebel. Okay, we may attracted to some of the good, okay, attitudes that they possess as our neighbors. Some we deny, and sometimes we become a rebel. Okay, we hesitate having such neighbors, right? The conformity or rebellion in some respects is the evidence of attitudes we hold, right? When they are disturbing our attitudes that we hold, okay, certainly we will become rebels. Okay, that they may disturb our beliefs that we possess, that we hold regarding our religion or something else, right? And economic status and occupation. The economic status and occupation, okay, occupational position of the individuals also affect is attitude formation. Our socio-economic background influence our present and future attitudes, right? Research findings have shown that unemployment disturbs former religious and economic values. Okay, if as per Maslow, your physiological needs, okay, are not fulfilled, then what you will starve. You don't want to, okay, expect to achieve other secondary needs. Okay, you don't want to fulfill other needs unless your physiological needs are not fulfilled. That's why when, okay, a research conducted, that was shown that unemployment disturbs formal religious and economic values. Okay, people say that, okay, if our religion is good, why we didn't get employment? Okay, why we didn't get the job? Okay, they may be disturbed, they may be covered. Children of professional class tend to conservatives because the parents will take a lot of care for their children and make that them become the conservatives. Respect for law of the country associated with, okay, increased year of education. Okay, respect for the law of the country, right, is associated with increased year of higher education. If you come to know, okay, what the law says, okay, generally you will be avoided by that because it is staying good. Why don't we accept that? Okay, because of higher education, lot of years of increased higher education, that will make people towards the positive, okay, develop a positive attitude towards the nation, right? And another is mass communication. Mass communication, right? What is mass communication? Attitudes are generally less stable as compared to the values. When you compare the attitudes with the values, they are less stable. They are less stable, right? And advertising message, for example, attempt to alter the attitude of people towards certain product or services. Generally, without seeing a advertisement, okay, I think we don't have a day. Okay, every day you will consciously or unconsciously exposed to the advertisement. Okay, from we wake up, you will hear advertisement from your radio. Okay, if your TV set is in on position, you will find the advertisement. Otherwise, you will have advertisement in the newspaper. Okay, if you move from home to work, you will find, okay, everywhere advertisements, right? You can't close your day without seeing a advertisement in there. It has become a part of our life. Okay, advertising message, for example, attempts to alter the attitude of people towards a certain product or services. Yes, we possess some attitudes, of course we have discussed that they are permanent, but sometimes advertisement will make, if the people at he has given Hyundai Santro can get you to hold a favorable feeling towards their cars, that attitude may lead to a desirable behavior for them. Okay, your purchase of Santro car. When you have a positive attitude regarding the Hyundai company, okay, of Santro car, generally you will develop and you want to possess that. Okay, you will have a desirable behavior towards that particular object, right? And in the next class we will discuss meaning and values. Now I'll, okay, end this session. Thank you.